This is college football on ABC Sports.
It is a moment unique to college football and a signature sign of fall in South Carolina. A touch of Howard's Rock sends the Clemson Tigers roaring down the hill with momentum matched only this year by the expectations of their fans. There was a time when mere mention of the word Clemson would conjure images of both orange and crush. But by the early 90s, it seemed Death Valley had become a place where only Tiger tradition had gone to die. Enter new coach Tommy Bowden, and in 1 year, the biggest turnaround in ACC history. At Missouri, Larry Smith's turnaround turned the other way in '99. But after a 4-7 season, help is on the way. A brand new offense and an old school buzzsaw on defense. Ferocious Justin Smith leads Mizzou into Death Valley. Welcome inside Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, where ABC Sports presents a tale of the Tigers as 19th-ranked Clemson hosts Missouri. Great to see you, everyone. I'm Sean Grady. Hey, make no mistake about it. Big-time top 25 college football is back at Clemson. 16 starters returned from a bowl team last year, although Tommy Bowden spent the entire offseason trying to quell enthusiasm. Those who are orange-born and orange-bred are talking BCS in the year 2000. I am delighted to introduce my partner this year on ABC College Football, former UCLA quarterback David Norrie. And Dave, hype is one thing, but this Clemson team might be able to cash some of those checks their fans have been writing.
Well, and the huge expectations are tied directly to how this team played the top two teams in the country a year ago. Virginia Tech, 3-point game with 5 minutes to go. Against Florida State right here in Death Valley, 17-14 final. This Clemson team could go into Tallahassee with a 9-0 record early in November, but their first test comes today against Missouri. Probably the best defensive front seven they'll see before they line up against the Seminoles, and the Missouri defense is led by the best defensive end in the country, Justin Smith.
We got one of the best outside linebackers in Keith Adams. We'll kick it off for you next. Those are just three fancy words that mean Death Valley, which is where we are this afternoon. That's where Larry Smith, a head coach who is under some fire, brings his team in despite turning around several programs, including the one that was his first head job at Tulane. Just like that guy, Tommy Bowden, now in his second year at Clemson after the 2-year turnaround at Tulane, and expectations are sky high for his club in the year 2000. Missouri won the toss. They have deferred, electing to go on defense first. Brad Hammerich will kick it off for Missouri with Jackie Robinson and Joe Don Reams back deep. Joe Don Reams will take it at the 1. Going to try the right side, and he is buried at the 20. So Clemson will go on offense. Last year, Woody Dantzler was coming off the bench as the Clemson quarterback. Now it is all his show.
And talking with the Clemson coaching staff, the offensive coaches, they say that in this offense, we're only as good as a quarterback that lines up in the shotgun. The last week, a real nice start for Woody, 16 for 17 in the opener.
And Dantzler is going to open here with a fullback, Terry Witherspoon, in the game. And no backs out there with him. You will see multiple formations, a ton of 4 wide receiver sets for Clemson. Dantzler will be in the shotgun all afternoon long. He will throw on first down. He's going to throw a deep ball. He's got a man down there, Gardner. It was almost picked off by Julian Jones. Let's check out the Chili's starting lineups. First, on the offensive side for Clemson, one of the smallest offensive lines you will see in top 25 college football, and they are down to their third left tackle. Brady Washburn will have to have a big afternoon. If it seems as if Clemson has opened the ball game in a 2-minute offense, it's because they have. They'll play it in the first 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes, and every 2 minutes in between. Now they're more traditional set with 4 receivers and Travis Zachary as the back. Dantzler, who can run, tries, doesn't have much on the right side. It's going to be 3rd and long for Clemson. The backs and receivers who will help out Woody Dantzler this afternoon. Primarily, there will be 4 wide receivers, and the best of those 4 is a very talented Rod Gardner, who set all kinds of receiving records here at Clemson a year ago. Ronnie Thomas, a true freshman, getting the start here. There have been some injuries that Clemson is dealing with on the offensive side of the ball. 5 receivers now in the package on 3rd and 10. Dantzler Immediately gets it off to Jackie Robinson, but he is going to be nowhere close, and Missouri gets exactly what they wanted, David.
And Woody Dantzler looks a little uncertain as to whether that was a third down play, but it was. And we'll be following all day long the communication strategy for Clemson. Rich Rodriguez, the offensive coordinator, calls the play downstairs. They signal it in to the skill athletes, and then they go.
Jamie Somani will get the kickoff. It is a low wobbler. Will bounce a couple of times. Eric Spencer just going to watch this one roll out of bounds. And Missouri will go on offense. Last year, Missouri split time between two quarterbacks, Jim Doherty and Kirk Farmer, until Farmer got hurt. This year, in fall training camp, it was Doherty who was lost for the year with an elbow injury. That means the entire load will now fall on the shoulders of a very interesting talent in Kirk Farmer.
That's right. And Larry Smith, the head coach, has always been the type of guy that goes with an offense that suits his quarterback, Kirk Farmer, a drop-back passer. Missouri brings in Bill Cubit, the wonder kid, the offensive coordinator from Western Michigan.
A 32-yard punt, so Missouri opens with great field position. Zane Gilmore almost breaks it on first down. Carswell, the safety, with the saving tackle. You check out the Chili starting lineup. A Missouri offensive line that is going to have an enormous day. Mike Hayes is the anchor of that line. He played 3 positions on the line a week ago against Western Illinois. Missouri, so much discussion about their new wide-open offense, but they're going to try to establish the run first. Gilmore up the middle. A healthy gain across midfield, and we should point out that Clemson did not allow the Citadel to get across midfield until late in the 4th quarter. Last week, Missouri is already there. Oftentimes, you will see 3 wide receivers, sometimes 4 wide receivers, sometimes 4 tight ends. That's Bill Cubit's new system, the new offensive coordinator. He did not have Travis Garvin, his best receiver, in the game last week against Western Illinois. He returns from a 1-game suspension. Missouri on 2nd and short. It is Zane Gilmore. He is up and has another first down. And again, Carswell has to come up and make the tackle. The Clemson defense, so much experience returning, but they won't have Jason Holloman today. Gary Childress will step up. Tommy Bowden has called out this defensive line this year. An outstanding group of junior linebackers. We told you about Keith Adams. Chad Carson had 18 tackles. He's a name you'll know by the end of this season. And Robert Carswell, one of the best safeties in the entire country. He already has had to make 2 saving tackles. There is Keith Adams, who led the nation a year ago in tackles and tackles for loss. The Missouri Tigers moving it well on their first drive. Dawsman goes in motion. Farmer will throw for the first time. He is in a world of trouble. Nick Eason is the one who gets him.
Well, and you kind of have to wonder here. Missouri comes out, a lot of success on the ground. They're pounding him up front. First down call. And they drop Farmer back. Great pressure coming off the left side. And it was number 98, Nick Eason. He got a big piece of Farmer.
2nd sack of the year for Eason, and this is going to be 2nd, and as you see, 19. Now, here comes our first look at the 5 wide receiver set. Brandon Barnes is the receiver in motion. Farmer, the quick out. He's got Justin Gage, but he's got maybe a yard or 2. They like to throw the ball to the outside, David, but Clemson has so much speed on defense, it's going to be tough to do.
Well, you have to be real careful against this Clemson unit. The Clemson defense, one of the fastest in the country. They pursue from sideline to sideline. Missouri's just going to flat out not go with any draw plays today because of their speed, and they got to be very careful on the swing passes and the runs to the wide side. These linebackers for Clemson can run just about anything down side to side.
So after Gilmore gets 23 yards in his first 3 carries, all of a sudden it is 3rd and a cab ride for Missouri. Farmer in trouble, gets rid of it, looking for Dawsman, overthrows him, and a very promising opening drive for Missouri goes awry.
Well, and Sean, it's going to be a contrast between both teams. Missouri's going to try to take time off the clock. They're going to try to run the football. The hit in the pocket, Carson, number 46. And Farmer, already early in this football game, has taken a couple big shots.
Travis Zachary back deep to receive this kick. Jared Gilpin kicked it 7 times last week for Missouri. Special teams, punting in particular, was a major problem for Mizzou a year ago. Gilpin gets it away. And see what Zachary does. He will field it, and he's going to run it. I think the Tigers, Missouri was almost expecting a fair catch. Instead, Zachary will bring him out to the 19, and the Clemson Tigers get the stop from the defense. Pittman is the offensive line coach for Missouri. And this is a team, David, that run block the last few years. All of a sudden, they have to pass block now. They had great success running the ball in their first series, but couldn't throw it.
Well, Missouri doesn't want to abandon the run, but you can see the personnel over the last 5 years, 6 years for Larry Smith. Better run blockers.
Clemson went 3 and out on their first drive. Play action. Dantzler will dump it off. He's got a man wide open across the middle of the field. It's Gardner across the 35 and the 40. Big play throwing the football. It was Morgan Woodward, the tight end, who caught a touchdown 1 week ago.
Well, the key to the Clemson offense, this fast-paced, no-huddle offense, is execution. They fake the underneath handoff. They move the pocket. They like to get Dantzler outside. Tight end crossing, wide open. And Woodward, nice job of advancing up, getting some extra yards down the football field.
And as you saw, Gardner doesn't mind getting his hands dirty, throwing a block. Quick out for Dantzler. Will get him a couple of yards on first down, something they couldn't do on their first trip. Finish out those starting lineups first. For Missouri on the defensive side, we told you all about Justin Smith, but the frequent double teams he will see will free up a very talented sophomore named Cedric Harden. And if there was no Justin Smith on this team, you'd hear a lot about the linebacker, Jamonte Robinson, once recruited by Clemson, and he's got something to prove here this afternoon. Second down, 4 for Dantzler. He's got 5 receivers in the pattern. Justin Smith was offside. Flag flies. Might be a free play for Dantzler, who is up close to a first down, but we will check out the flag.
Yeah, that was Justin Smith moving a little early off that left defensive end position. Smart play by Dantzler to go ahead and take the play.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Big 12 officiating crew today. There is Jamonte Robinson.
And number 96, Justin Smith, the preseason All-American, consensus All-American coming into the year, and he's an excitable young man. And the talk out of Columbia is that he's become a little bit more disciplined as a younger player. He's been a guy that's been very susceptible to misdirection.
Missouri secondary has struggled early on through camp and in their opening game last week, but they are getting healthier. As long as they can get pressure on the quarterback from that guy, Justin Smith, they're going to be in good shape. With the penalty, it is a Clemson first down. They move into Missouri territory for the first time. This is as close to a standard set as you will see for Clemson. Dantzler out of the shotgun, 4 receivers, and Zachary. The quick out this time to Jackie Robinson. Has some room. And he is close to another Clemson first down. Time to check out our Dell Game Solutions. First, David, for the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, let the dance begin. They got to get Dantzler off to a quick start, get his confidence going. We mentioned 16 for 17 last week, and defensively make it a long day. Get Farmer in second and third and long situations.
First carry for Zachary, and he is right at the marker. Going to be third and short to get another Clemson first down. Travis Zachary, the starting tailback for Clemson, has overcome all kinds of adversity. It seems he has had every opportunity to lose the job, but he and Woody Dantzler, neither of whom was recruited here by Tommy Bowden and his staff, have both maintained the job and now are the key components of the offense of a team that a lot of people feel is going to make a run at Florida State in the ACC.
And Zachary, the key to the tailback position at Clemson is versatility, and it looks like the Tigers just inches short. But Zachary is the perfect mix at tailback for this offense. He's an effective runner. See the 6.6 average last week, but he's a tremendous pass catcher out of the backfield. And number 3, and maybe most importantly, he's a great blocker. Oftentimes Dantzler will carry the football, and they'll use Zachary as a lead blocker.
Dantzler seldom goes under center, only in short yardage situations, and this being one of them, it will be a quarterback sneak that will get Clemson another first down.
First down, Tigers.
It is as unique an offense in terms of how it is executed than any really in the country.
Yeah, you see assistant coaches there on the sideline for Clemson. Rick Stockstill, Brad Scott, they're receiving the call from up above, Rich Rodriguez in the press box.
As you can see, they fly up the field. Dantzler has a man wide open. It is J.J. McKelvey, another Clemson first down. It was almost as if that first drive was just a practice run. Dantzler is 4 for 4.
Yeah, McKelvey You talk about the speed of defensive speed for Clemson at linebacker. McKelvey has come over from linebacker to play wide receiver.
4 for 4 on the drive, 5 of 6 in the first quarter is Dantzler. Remember, he was 16 of 17 a week ago against 1AA Citadel. And this is about as low as you will see the 25-second snap clock get for Clemson as they change the play at the line. Zachary. Tommy Bowden doesn't like to see that play clock get down under 18 or 19 seconds.
So they'd like to get the play called in by 18 seconds, and then if Rich Rodriguez is going to check the play, he'll check it from the press box, and they'll snap it with sometimes a little bit more than 10 seconds. Sometimes they'll take it just inside 10 seconds after a check at the line of scrimmage. Right now, Dantzler is checking.
And he has to go up and tell the lineman. That's what that was about. The check is a quick out for the freshman Youngblood, who puts it on the ground. Missouri has it. Or no, they will call it incomplete. And my goodness, was that awful close.
And Youngblood getting an earful from Tommy Bowden on the sideline. I mean, this is a play you have to make. Nice decision by Dantzler.
Oh my.
And as a wide receiver, especially with 2 defenders closing on you got to secure the football. That's a good call. That was a good call. He did not have control. Incomplete pass.
5 receivers. Dantzler will take the short one over the middle. Should be another first down. We talked about the implementation of this Clemson offense. We asked Tommy Bowden exactly how he does it.
Here, we pretty much hand signal our play and formation into all our skill people. Every running back, wide receiver, quarterback has to receive that information from the sideline. The offensive line is fed the information by the quarterback. Then, of course, any play that's changed, the receivers, again, and the quarterbacks get it from the sideline. The offensive line get it from the quarterback.
And all of that happens in about 8 seconds. Dantzler will keep it, try to get to the outside. He does. Takes a big hit in the process.
Now Woody getting up a little bit slow there, but a big part of this offense are designed runs for number 1. And you take a look, the underneath handoff, this is a designed play for Woody Dantzler. He's the fastest player on this offensive team, and he has to be just as effective on the ground as in the passing game.
Julian Jones, the corner, is the one who came up to get it. A good percentage, but not a great one when you factor in the field goals for Clemson a year ago. As you can imagine, this spread offense can slow down inside the red zone. Second down. Let's see, Clemson can get a first down without a touchdown. Zachary up the middle. Leapfrogs one, and it's going to be short.
Oh, talking to the offensive coaching staff for Clemson, it's like pulling teeth to get them to admit what the weakness of the no huddle and especially the shotgun offense is. And you know, they'll finally admit that it promotes some problems in the short yardage, as you said, Sean, and goal line situations. They have to find creative ways to pick up short yardage.
12th play of this drive. Zachary, no problem. Dantzler is the worst for wear when Clemson is on the board.
Dantzler definitely with a little hitch in his step. And we'll have to watch that closely. Both teams, if number 1 quarterbacks go down, both Missouri and Clemson, either one of these teams would be in a bit of trouble. Very young number 2s, and on that last play, a rare situation when you see Clemson go from under center.
Aaron Hunt, a true freshman, has taken over the place-kicking duties for Clemson. He puts it through the exclamation point on a 13-play, 81-yard drive. Woody Dantzler takes him late to the field. Travis Zachary finishes it off, and Clemson is on the board. Larry Smith's Missouri Tigers are down 7. Travis Zachary got the touchdown, but watch the left ankle of Woody Dantzler.
Well, first of all, nice block by Chad Jasmine. The backup fullback, number 10, leading the way. Zachary lowers the pad level, breaks the goal line, touchdown Clemson. Woody Dantzler once again coming off the field, having some problems with the lower leg. Looks like he's okay there. And as we mentioned, the backup quarterback, Willie Simmons, not really ready to go to run this finely tuned offensive machine.
Lazera will kick it deep, gobbled up by Ricardo Rhodes, who will return it for Missouri. Here's across the 22. Kick coverage by Clemson. And this is going to be very intriguing, David, to see what approach Missouri takes after such success on the ground and such difficulty throwing the ball on their first series.
Well, if I know Larry Smith over the years, Tulane, Arizona, USC, Missouri, when he has success on the ground, he's not afraid to pound it at you. He's not afraid to run the ball in between the tackles. And when you line up a running game against this Clemson defense, you better concentrate on running the ball between the tackles because of the speed and the pursuit that the Tigers can throw on you on defense.
They will go offset I. That's Brandon Ford lined up as an H-back. He is a tight end. Gilmore, 23 yards on his first 3 carries. He's got nothing here, but there's flags down. Let's check out the Dell Game Solutions for Missouri this afternoon.
Now looking at the Tigers Game Solutions, crowd control. They need to try to keep this environment somewhat under control. That means, number 1, not turning the ball over. And number 2, on offense, trying to get a running game, trying to keep this Clemson offense off the field.
On the offense, penalty is declined. Second down.
So they will not take it.
Second and 10.
This is all part of a new offensive scheme. So these are plays with H-backs, tight ends as H-backs going in motion that they have not practiced very long. Play action. Farmer in a world of trouble, and down he goes. You know about Memorial Stadium. What about Times Square Stadium? John Saunders got an update on Miami and Washington.
Sean, here on the Burger King update, as you said, Miami and Washington, and a critical error for the Hurricanes on the goal line of pass interference sets this up. Braxton Clement from 3 yards out on the option, and Washington strikes first. 7-0. That's your Burger King update, Sean.
All right, John. Braxton Williams, the sack that makes it 3rd and 22. Farmer barely gets it away on a little screen. Spencer has some running room, but not nearly enough.
Well, on that prior play, Braxton K. Williams came like a house of fire off the right edge, created a 3rd and 22 situation. And Bill Cubitt, the offensive coordinator for Missouri, you talk about a riverboat gambler, he empties out. No backs in the backfield. 3rd and 22. His team down 7 points. That's a risky call. Spencer securing it on the wide receiver screen play, but I'll tell you what, Cubitt not afraid to make any call from any spot on the football field.
His heart, no doubt, skipped a beat. In trouble is Gilpin. Big trouble. Alex Ardley on the pressure. 1st and goal, Clemson.
Well, Alex Ardley on the right-hand side of your screen is going to come in. He beats the block on the outside, and no chance. And these are the type of mistakes you cannot commit in Death Valley, especially against a team ranked in the top 20. We talked about Clemson's success a year ago against the top 2 teams in the country, and Dantzler going right back to work.
1st and goal, my ankle feels just fine, thank you. It will go under center in the short yardage 1st and goal, starting at the 4. Zachary to the 1. The Clemson Tigers close it in for a 2nd touchdown. They struggled on their first possession after Missouri ran the ball successfully but could not throw it after they were forced to punt. Travis Zachary finished off a 79-yard drive, and now Clemson knocking on the door again. Zachary cuts back. Justin Smith will stop him before pay dirt.
Nice play by number 96, Justin Smith. Now, if there's a better defensive end in the country, I want to see him, and that was nice pursuit. Looked like Zachary had a cutback angle looking for the end zone, but Justin Smith hunted that play down. And Missouri looking desperately for a stop here. Clemson trying to run away and hide early.
Zachary is out. Witherspoon, a fullback, in on 3rd and goal from inside the 2. Chancellor wants timeout. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. If only everything was as dependable as a Chevy. Chevy will be there. By Chili's. I want my Chili's baby back ribs. Only at Chili's. By Courtyard by Marriott. The hotel designed by business travelers. And Dell, providing the infrastructure to power your e-business. Clemson Tigers need some power to get this ball in from about 2 yards away, and this is where things become interesting, because this is not an offense designed for smash-mouth goal line football.
And not only is the Clemson offense not designed for short yardage situations, but the Missouri offense, more importantly, is not designed as a comeback offense, at least with the personnel they have in place for Bill Cubit and Larry Smith right now. Maybe a couple years down the line. And you get into an environment like Death Valley, one of the top 5 or 6 home advantages that you'll see in college football, and you get down 14, 17 points, the crowd and the defensive rush of the Clemson Tigers can make it awfully difficult for you to come back, Sean.
Looks like Penn State is back. 3rd and goal. This could be a play we'll talk about much later. Zachary is in. 2 in a row for Travis Zachary. Missouri gets him to 3rd down. But the Tigers have scored twice. It was Alex Ardley forcing the near block punt on the pressure that set up Clemson 1st and goal.
Nice work by the big fellas up front for Clemson in those short yardage situations. And short yardage running's a weakness. I haven't seen it yet from Clemson. And Zachary showing a real special feel for finding creases down near the goal line.
Hunt on to add the extra point. He does. Cannon fire, loud cheers, and the Missouri Tigers in a world of hurt. Down a couple of scores. Mo Agney, the defensive coordinator for Missouri, watched this quite a bit last year. And in fact, back in Columbia, they're flashing back to that botched punt because special teams were a major problem for Missouri last year, and that is why they now trail by 14.
Well, Coach Ankney has some other problems right now, and he talked on Wednesday about not letting the running game get going for Clemson and pressure Dantzler. So far, Missouri has not been able to do either one of those things.
Rhodes across the 20. Popped once and will go no further. Al Troy Bodrick to hit.
And I'll tell you what, Sean, if we take a look at Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, -3 total yards for Missouri, 86 for Clemson. But the big story on the first 3 plays of the game, Missouri picked up a total of 23 yards rushing. They go to the pass, and since then, -22 yards on the last 7 plays.
Zach Abram, a redshirt freshman tailback, bounces off 1, but not 2. Reggie Herring told us, David, he was concerned about Missouri running the football straight at them, and it was almost as if in the opening plays of the game, his worst nightmare was coming true. Missouri went away from it, and now they can't seem to get back to it.
Now, Reggie Herring, he says, hey, we can line up against 4 and 5 wides. We do that every day in practice. We see Florida State every year. But the one thing I worry about is Missouri pounding it at us.
Farmer, the quick out. He's got Garvin, but he is short of a first down.
And Missouri, what Missouri's going to have to do here is they're going to have to reestablish the line of scrimmage, just as they did on those opening 3 plays at the start of the football game. And for this Missouri offense to work and for Kirk Farmer to have success at quarterback today, a young quarterback playing at Death Valley, you need to take some pressure off by picking up yards on the ground.
3rd and short. It is Abram who bursts through for a first down. Well, this is just the start of things here today on ABC Sports. More great college football regional action tonight. Many of you will see Florida State, the aforementioned Seminoles, against Georgia Tech. Or some of you will see USC coming off that impressive opening win. That brutal early season schedule that Colorado has to play. Abram on first down. Abram, we mentioned a redshirt freshman, actually took the job away from Zane Gilmore during spring practice for Missouri. And both of these backs are of the punishing variety. They're not east to west.
Yeah, they're both big backs at about 230. But Abram is a guy with the low center of gravity. Gilmore more of a breakaway runner if he gets in the clear.
Abram is going to be sorry he left his feet. If not now, tomorrow morning.
Loss of 1 yard on the play. 3rd and 6.
An end zone view, and Clemson doing a great job of working their linebackers. But the Tigers try to do up front defensively. They try to occupy offensive linemen and let the linebackers do the work. And we've seen some great penetration from the linebackers early in this football game.
Terry Jolly has had a great start. Missouri 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Farmer throwing deep, not even close. Flag is down. Back near the line of scrimmage.
Kirk Farmer looks pretty jacked up early. He's throwing the ball high. You can tell he's a little bit juiced up early in this football game.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, Tommy Bowden will now watch what had been a 3rd and 6 become a 3rd and 1.
Tommy Bowden knows how important it is against this Missouri offense to try and keep Kirk Farmer in 2nd and long and 3rd and long situations. This opens up the playbook for Missouri.
Short yardage package. Abram didn't get there. Chad Carson comes up to make the stop.
Well, Carson and Braxton Williams. Watch number 48. He's going to pick his way through. He's here to back up Carson. Carson's the one who makes the play. But again, linebackers making plays. Williams with a sack earlier in this football game. Carson, a guy who plays in the shadow of Keith Adams. And you hear so much about Keith Adams, but we were visiting with Reggie Herring yesterday. He said Carson deserves just as much credit in the last 2 or 3 football games for Clemson as Keith Adams does.
Missouri doesn't have to make a decision here because the first quarter has run out. An impressive one defensively for Keith Adams and the Clemson Tigers. After a shaky start, they are in command after 1 in Death Valley. Keith Adams gets the headlines, and deservedly so. But Chad Carson and Robert Carswell, Carson who plays alongside Adams as a linebacker and Carswell as true a safety as you will ever see, were also dominant in the ACC, and they are a big part of this defensive package that frees Keith Adams up really to do whatever he wants.
Keith Adams, you look at that figure, almost 180 tackles a year ago.
Abram converts the 4th down try. Larry Smith on this particular situation. At another time, at another place, maybe he kicked the ball away here, but momentum had deserted him so quickly that maybe he felt now or never on a 4th down.
That's a risky call. And from your own 45-yard line with over 14 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter, if you don't make it there, Clemson in great shape to blow this one open, but give the big guys credit up front for Missouri.
Well, let's see if this settles them down now. They are in the game. They're into the 2nd quarter. Farmer. It all breaks down. He gets rid of it. Dosman has it, 1st down. Those are the glimpses from Kirk Farmer that has the coaching staff so excited.
Well, and if you're going to have success against this Clemson Tiger defense, the pressure in the pocket, you're going to have to be able to move and reset in the pocket. Watch Farmer step up to his left, and then he gets the ball away across his body. Dosman on a little dig route, a crossing route. Carson with a little hello there.
Abram trying to go to the outside. As I said, that is going to be trouble getting outside for Missouri. Kirk Farmer, David, is a very interesting package. They really love his athleticism. The problem with him right now is he has not game tested a broken leg against Iowa State in October last year, and he had been sharing quarterback duties at that time. So very little game action for him, but they are very excited about his potential.
Yeah, relatively young and not many starts under his belt.
A freakish athlete. Zane Gilmore back in at tailback. This is going to be another 3rd and long coming up. Well, next Saturday, more regional action for you. Florida State, who opens up in the ACC tonight on ABC against Georgia Tech. We'll get North Carolina. How big would it be for UCLA to beat Alabama and Michigan in the month of September? Washington at Colorado is the other regional game next week.
Be interesting to see if Michigan can get it done with Navarre. No Drew Henson early for the Wolverines.
Looked great last week, but that was Bowling Green. 3rd and long. Farmer, quick drop. It is deflected and picked off. Brian Mance. Just when it seemed Missouri had it going.
And Kirk Farmer, an early mistake here in the football game. You got to take a little off that ball. That's a short route by Spencer. Mance is going to stay back, take care of his own responsibility, the tip, and then he makes a nice break on the football. Watch him show the referee that he has the football as well. And when you make that interception, get up quickly, show the referees you have the football, and he was plenty happy after that play.
Mance still just 18 years old. On 1st down, here comes Clemson again. That's Justin Watts, a 5th-year senior, knocked out of bounds, and there is no time to breathe. And here is where the offense becomes so effective again, David. Taking advantage of turnovers when momentum, which can be so fragile, they don't give you time. They are right on you.
Now the key is tempo, and as a defensive lineman, as a defensive player, pretty soon it seems like the Clemson Tigers are getting up to the line of scrimmage quicker and quicker on you as the game progresses.
Bernard Rambert now in at tailback. Flags fly everywhere. That could be bad news for Clemson. Rambert, a sophomore, played last year as a true freshman. It is indeed holding that is going to bring the orange backwards.
Well, Rambert got a shot in the Peach Bowl game against Mississippi State late last year after Zachary went down, had 70 yards. Remember, Mississippi State, #1 defense in the country last year.
On the offense.
They're getting ready for UCLA now.
If UCLA takes care of business today against Fresno State, that should be a big one.
Pac-10 7-0 in these non-conference games, and if they come through today with Washington against Miami and Oregon against Wisconsin,
Colorado and USC,
it's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to rethink their preseason thinking. The 1st down and a bunch. 1st and 28. Dantzler under pressure gets rid of it. Now, although J.J. McKelvey was down there, we should point out new rule this year regarding the quarterbacks, protecting the quarterbacks and grounding.
Yeah, it's a new rule, and it's similar to the NFL rule. If you're 5 yards outside of where the ball is originally placed, you can throw the ball away just as long as you get the ball past the line of scrimmage. And on that last play, pretty nice job by Sean Doyle applying the pressure from his linebacker spot on Dantzler.
Momentum-wise, Missouri has them pinned back. An excellent opportunity to get the football back here. Dantzler throwing a fade, a little too strong. Dantzler took a hit from Pat Mengucci as well.
Now, Clemson not successful picking up the 1st down, but a nice play call there with Dantzler. Nice call to go up top, try to find Gardner, a big physical wide receiver, and Dantzler found the man-to-man coverage immediately.
Dantzler, you see changing the play, making sure the linemen know what it is. On 3rd and forever. Don't bet against the quarterback draw here. Dantzler loves to run it. He is in some trouble here, and Clemson will have to kick it away. He was not down. As a quarterback, Dantzler seemed to slide down. He will get that extra yardage. Still nowhere close to a first down.
Dantzler had to make an early exit because of Justin Smith, big number 96. But watch Gardner. He's not only a talented receiver, 80 receptions on the year a year ago, but he's pretty physical downfield. And he picked up the fact that Dantzler was in some duress. You always love a wide receiver as a quarterback who will work for you downfield.
6'3", 215. Jamie Someni will kick it. Clemson much improved in the punting game as well. And this is a gem. Eric Spencer backpedaling to the 12. Beats the one man, then two on a nifty move, and he will get it out to the 21. Great return of 9 yards by Eric Spencer. Missouri has had a rough start, but an opportunity to climb back in this thing when we return. Pair of touchdowns by Travis Zachary. The 19th ranked Clemson Tigers in command for the time being. In the past, Missouri would not be a team that would have a lot of success coming from behind, but a brand new offense, that might change a little bit, especially as they become more comfortable in this football game. Kirk Farmer has time, but short hops it to Travis Garvin.
And those are the plays that Kirk Farmer is going to have to make if Missouri's going to have success. We're taking a look at the possession chart. First 3 possessions for Missouri, not a lot of success. In fact, the only success right out of the gate, Sean, on those 3 running plays.
It looks like that first drive was not successful, and in the end it was not, but they did rush for 23 yards in their first 3 carries, and after that, silent movies. Quick handoff around the end comes Spencer, but again, the speed of the Clemson defense is their calling card. Charles Hafley, a strong safety, will chase down Eric Spencer.
And
all
this
part of the new offense.
This is tough for Missouri. Bill Cubit wants to use speed on offense. Spencer can fly. Garvin, he can move as well. But you get a little taste of that speed. Keith Adams, the All-American, this linebacking unit, a very active defensive front for Clemson. And pretty soon that portion of your playbook gets shut down.
They're going to have success with that play this year, but perhaps not this afternoon. Farmer rolling. He's got a chance to run for it. He will get there and plenty more.
Number 14, Kirk Farmer on the quarterback keeper for the Missouri first down.
Well, this is a super play by Kirk Farmer, and he does not get a lot of help from his wide receivers. I mean, if you're a wide receiver downfield and you see your quarterback scrambling, you got to help him out. You got to do something sudden to help him out. Kirk Farmer pulls it down. He's got great speed for his size and pretty physical. I mean, he did not go to the turf here. He's going to take on Carswell pretty darn high.
26 yards on the carry for Farmer. Gilmore's got nothing on the left side.
And keep in mind, Kirk Farmer, they're coming off a broken leg a year ago, a stress fracture that he suffered in his lower leg, the opposite leg, in fall camp this year, and still he can pack it down and run with it.
Still wearing an air cast for that stress fracture, and they are just salivating at the notion of this young man getting healthy.
Now, Bill Cubit says he could be a great one down the line, and a pretty strong kid at that. Bench press is 425 pounds at the quarterback position.
And he's a scratch golfer, which is just not fair. He's going to run for it again, and he's going to get it again. Oh, Farmer moving the chains all by himself. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. This week's question, our first week with you, we thought we'd lob you a softball. What is the most common nickname in Division 1A football?
Viewers ought to be able to hit that one out of the park. Interesting, though, when you talk about the 2 names that are in second place. You might throw that at him down the line. But Kirk Farmer, I mean, Missouri defense, they're ready for Dantzler running. Doesn't look like Clemson ready for Farmer's versatility.
Well, not by a long shot. Now Farmer again gives himself room. This time he will throw it. He's got Dwayne Blakely, the tight end. Catch is good. And this is what the Tigers wanted to do so desperately, which is to get 6, 7, 8 yards at a time on first down. Clemson can't be aggressive if Missouri is 2nd and 2.
And once more, Kirk Farmer had an opportunity to pull the football down. And granted, he completed that pass, but if Farmer tucks that football, he's got another 10, 15 yards under his belt.
Factor in a huge sack in those rushing numbers for Farmer, who's going to have to get it done again here on 3rd down.
Stop made by number 48, Braxton K. Williams.
Braxton K. Williams,
No gain
tackle.
on the play. It's 3rd and 2.
Father Braxton G. Williams. Played at Clemson. As Kirk Farmer's father was a quarterback at Missouri, playing for one of the legendary head coaching names in the history of the business, Mr. Dan Devine.
He's got to be proud of his son right now. His son creating some problems for this Clemson defense.
Farmer on 3rd down has the tight end Blakely. 1st down and plenty more.
That's complete to number 85, Wayne Blakely.
Well, Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, he said, I get worried when they go with tight ends in the ballgame, and Blakely's speed worries me. And Blakely, one of the more talented tight ends you'll find in college football. He can run, has very gifted hands, and a nice job by Kirk Farmer taking a little bit off that throw, dropping it in there. 1st down inside the 10-yard line.
Gilmore takes a big hit. Carson was in there, so was Adams. Reggie Herring also told us quite emphatically that when he saw tight ends in the game for Missouri, he was thinking run, not pass like we just saw.
Well, but on the other side of the coin, if you talk to the Missouri staff, they'll say we love to use our tight ends in the play-action game. And you know that Reggie Herring is aware of that as well. The tight ends get involved in the run game, but they're also very dangerous on play-action.
2nd and goal. This could change the complexion of this football game. The pitch. Gilmore cuts back. Nothing there. Looked like Hayfley, and it was, who came across to get just enough of it.
Well, once again, the ability to run, the speed of the Clemson defense shuts down a perimeter running play. And I think you'll see Missouri start to get away from the swing passes, the sweeps, the options, the side-to-side movement in the running game, because they're just having no success with it right now.
Missouri football in Y2K. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and goal. Farmer lobs it. End zone. Deflected. Out of bounds. Flag is down. Just engaged. The receiver was being covered and perhaps a little too closely by Chad Speck.
You talk about a big play. I mean, Clemson had the advantage on this. A pass into the end zone, the ball's underthrown, and I'll tell you what, that's a pretty tough call. And the reason why I tell you it's a tough call, Speck got his eyes back to the football. You know, most defensive backs at the college level have trouble getting their eyes back to the football. There was some contact, but I think this is incidental contact. And it's because 31 gets his eyes back. Now, Gage had to gear down a little bit to make that catch. Let's see if Missouri can cash in.
Gilmore in some trouble. He's going to throw it. Incomplete. Very nearly caught by Brandon Ford.
Should have been caught.
Rodney Thomas, the pressure. And very clearly, as soon as Gilmore touched it, he had a gleam in his eye.
Well, this is a nice play by Gilmore to stay alive. He double pumps with the ball, then he gets the throw off, and not an easy catch, but that's a catch that has to be made. And to be fair to it, Brandon Ford, not the most gifted receiving tight end, but once again, he's got to make that play.
Gilmore will try it the old-fashioned way. And sometimes the old-fashioned way is best. Some anxious moments on the drive, but Kirk Farmer scrambling, giving Missouri first down after first down. Gilmore can't throw to the end zone, but he sure can carry it in there, and Missouri is on the board.
Old-fashioned gut check for the boys up front for Missouri on the offensive line. They need a play. They get a nice push. and Gilmore making sure he stretches that ball out over the goal line.
Hammerich yanks the extra point wide. But the Tigers are on the board. They have stemmed the tide, and we got a 7-point ball game in Death Valley. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by the Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford Tough. By Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. By Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help. And FedEx. FedEx, be absolutely sure. Brad Hammerich had hit 31 consecutive extra points to begin his career at Missouri. Number 32 goes awry.
And the snap was there. Gilpin with a nice hold. And pretty dicey execution by your place kicker. 8-point game.
Joe Don Reams up to get it. Beats the first wave, but is pounded down by David Monroe.
There is a flag on the play.
Flags are down. Way back. If you're Missouri now, 6:10 remaining, Dave, in the first half. Boy, this could be an awful lot worse.
Well, it could really be a lot worse, especially if Missouri didn't pick up that 4th and short on their own 45-yard line. Gutsy call by Larry Smith. A real gutsy call by Larry Smith to go for it in that situation. Give him credit. And Missouri cashed in on it, but not without a real heroic effort by Kirk Farmer. He made some great plays with his legs. And then the running game took over inside the 5 to cash in for the touchdown. And really the most important part of that drive, Sean, is Missouri worked the clock. Only 6:10 to go in the first half. The tempo of this Clemson team, both on offense and defense, is designed to wear you down. And it was no secret. Missouri wanted to come into this football game, work on the clock, shorten the game. And they've done a pretty good job here in the second quarter of regaining some balance, both offensively and defensively.
We'll bring it back to the 30 and try this one again. Jackie Robinson will leave it go to Joe Don Reams, who will try it again and get a better return. A much better return. And they are going to call that a fumble. The Clemson Tigers were walking off the field, but the play was still alive. And now, after a botched punt earlier by Missouri, they turn the tables and they'll have an opportunity to head in and tie this football game.
But Reams looking upfield. And he's going to use that off arm. And that is not a fumble, ladies and gentlemen.
Not even close.
Now you hear so many times the ground can't cause a fumble, and that's just a fancy way of saying that once you're down, you're down. The football cannot come out. And the officials missed that one. Yeah, big
so
guys,
much for that meeting.
Big guys thought they had a rest for a minute or two. No rest for the weary. And Missouri with another chance to take care of some clock and establish a line of scrimmage on offense. Tommy Bowden can't be real happy about that.
Avery can't get to the outside. Keith Adams helps him to the outside. Out of bounds. We check out our Courtyard by Marriott moment. The last time these two teams met, it was 4 years ago in Columbia. 28-yard touchdown run here by Dennis West. Clemson was in the top 25 this season. Not unlike today, but it was Missouri who pulled the upset on their home field. Ernest Blackwell, a 29-yard touchdown run. Missouri won the game 38-24. That has been a tough one for Clemson to swallow 4 years ago. Farmer rolling with plenty of time. He's got Garvin inside the 20.
And how about the confidence of Kirk Farmer on that play? Once again, he escapes containment. Watch, he's going to beat Adams outside. And with the speed of Farmer, he's free to pick up 10, 15 yards. But he's got Garvin wide open on the comeback out. And he has the confidence to put that ball up and know he'll have the accuracy to pick up the bigger gain. Nice play by the young quarterback.
He's got tight ends in there now with Abram, the tailback on first down. Farmer looking good on the fade. Garvin had it and dropped it. Ardley on the coverage, but Garvin will be replaying that one for a while.
Well, Farmer's going to get pressure early, and it's going to come off the right edge. Watch 43, the All-American Adams. And a little bit late, at least from Adams, on the play. This ball is almost perfectly thrown. You know, Garvin's got to make that play for him. Ardley does not get a hand in till late. And as a wide receiver at Death Valley, you've got to go up. You've got to try to secure that football. It was a difficult catch, not an easy catch. But you can tell Garvin right now saying, I should have had that one. He's that talented a wide receiver.
Alex Ardley was beaten on the play, but got those hands up there just enough, apparently anything, to distract the receiver, and it did the job and saved a touchdown.
Well, that's what you have to do as a defensive back. You can't always count on the receiver making a clean catch. And Garvin did not catch that ball cleanly. Ardley took advantage with the late arm in to shake the ball loose.
Ardley, the only Clemson defensive back to start as both a freshman and sophomore. Now in his third year, and he is one of the better ones in the ACC. Well, earlier we lobbed you the following softball in our Aflac trivia question. Which teams, of course, which nickname is the most common in Division 1A football? And I think that's probably enough of a hint for you. It is, in fact, the Tigers. We got 2 today, but who are the other 3? LSU, Memphis, and of course Auburn.
Now we might want to have a little asterisk next
LSU?
to that last one, yeah. Sean. Technically, down in the Bayou, they call them the Fighting Tigers. And maybe some of the viewers will take a crack at what's the second most common nickname. And there are 2 teams that share that honor.
Are you running that particular contest?
Well, I don't know. We'll take a look at it later.
Well, coming up Monday night, I can tell you, in this age of hype and hyperbole, these 2 teams, their fans and their cities don't like each other. It is Tuna Bowl 9. There are Al Michaels, Dan Fouts, and Dennis Miller for the first Tuna Bowl game without the tuna. And those 2 teams used to meet back in the late 70s and early 80s, the Patriots and Jets. The New York Jets had to be concerned with that man, Julius Adams, a fearsome defensive lineman on those great New England defenses back in the late 70s and early 80s. Julius Adams' son may be the best outside linebacker in the entire country.
He'll be playing on Sundays, too. You can bet on it.
Very soon. Farmer on second down. Gonna lob it again. This time, Garvin can't get it. Nance on the coverage.
And that was one of those fade throws where sometimes an underthrow can serve you well. Mance had more depth than Garvin. The ball was underthrown, but it gave Garvin a chance to come back, separate. And once again, Garvin, a more difficult opportunity than the last time he was in the end zone. Couldn't quite gather it in for Farm.
Another 3rd and long. Remember, Hammerich, the kicker, just missed an extra point. Farmer escapes the first wave of trouble, throws it on the run behind Dawsman. 4th down upcoming, and this is not going to be a chip shot. Nick Eason, the pressure on Farmer.
Yeah, Eason was the first to arrive, but again, more Clemson Tigers on the scene. Farmer doesn't complete the ball, does not pick up the first down, but he's doing a great job of neutralizing this Clemson Tiger speed. He's done a nice job of using his feet, getting out of the pocket and creating plays, and that was really missing in the first quarter for Missouri.
Hammerich going to try it from 36. Missed an extra point just moments ago, but this one is true. And the Missouri Tigers have climbed off the canvas. Larry Smith has his club within 5. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by the Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford Tough. By Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. By Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help. And FedEx. FedEx. Be absolutely sure. Which apparently is what Larry Smith was when he went for it, David, on that 4th and 1 to begin the second quarter with his team down 14-0 and in a whole world of hurt.
And don't forget, the 4th and 1 took place from his own 45-yard line on the road at Death Valley. And that decision has turned this football game around.
Clemson did not even get to return a kickoff in their game against the Citadel last week. Now they will return their second in the last couple of minutes. This one high and short. Jackie Robinson takes another big hit. That is 2 in a row on kickoff coverage by David Monroe. And it has been a tale of 2 Tigers and a tale of 2 quarters.
We're taking a look at the second quarter in Missouri. As a result of Kirk Farmer using his feet, getting outside the pocket, some nifty passing, and some pretty darn good play calling by Bill Cubitt, has turned this into a 5-point game, and Clemson going to have to go back to work. I mean, Clemson not used to staying off the field on offense that long.
Both of these teams had an easy go of it, as they should have last week in their season openers against 1AA teams. Missouri scored 50 points. Play action, Dantzler not going to get back to the line. Justin Smith.
Dantzler on the quarterback keeper.
There's so many run plays in this Clemson offense designed for the quarterback, and oftentimes tough to tell whether this is just a bust in the backfield or a planned run, but it's not. They've got the lineman pulling, designed run for Dantzler, and the Missouri defense with penetration shuts it down.
3 receivers and 2 backs. Dantzler up to make sure the linemen have the play. You saw Zachary and Witherspoon, that's a fullback, who flip-flop positions. Zachary will try it. There's a hole for him as the guards pull. How about a big hole? How about a first down?
Well, take a look at Watts getting dirty downfield. And the key on this run, nice work up front. The dip to the left, set up field. Green grass to the outside. Zachary really showing me something from that tailback spot here in the first half.
With an offensive line that small, you see how important the blocking is from the receivers. Dantzler finds Watts, rewards him with another first down.
Well, and you have not heard number 96 called a lot this afternoon. Clemson by design doing some things to get away from 96's speed, and when Dantzler gets a pitch and catch situation, a wide open receiver on the outside like that last play, he rarely misses. He takes advantage of all of those situations in the passing game on the perimeter.
See Justin Smith huffing and puffing just a little bit. It is impossible, near impossible, to simulate this kind of offense and the tempo that comes at you in practice. Zachary.
Stop made by number 8, Clarence Jones.
And there's the communication situation. Rich Rodriguez sending the plays down. One coach sends in the personnel with the signal, or calls the personnel. The other coach the play in formation. All skill athletes see those signals. Quarterback calls it out to the offensive line. If there's a check, it comes in again from those coaches on the sideline.
And there is no margin defensively to prepare, as Missouri is going to take a timeout. But for Clemson, another element of that, David, with the play clock, as Tommy Bowden wants to snap it at 18-19, if they don't like what they see defensively, well, that's an awful lot of time to make a change.
Exactly. And when you talk about a check being made by Rich Rodriguez up top, that means that the play's already in. The formation, the personnel, the play has been called. Verbally, the quarterback will let the offensive line know. The skill athletes have already seen the play, and then Dantzler will check to the sideline. Rodriguez will look at the defensive front, and if he doesn't like what he sees, he'll go ahead, call down on the phones quickly to the 2 coaches. They'll signal out to the skill athletes, Dantzler calls out the play to his 5 offensive linemen, and they're ready to go. Now, that seems pretty complicated, but it gets done very quickly with Clemson, and what it does is it gives Rich Rodriguez, and you can see him right there, 3rd from the right, and it gives Rich Rodriguez, now he's 2nd from the right, but not wearing the hat. Gentleman in the middle not wearing the hat, sitting down. It gives Rich Rodriguez control right up to the snap of the football, Sean.
And you're saying, who are all those guys behind him? Well, they are watching for defensive signals. As we said, with all that time available to change the play at the line of scrimmage.
You think they'd be trying to steal Clemson's signals.
Dantzler on 2nd down. Will keep it. Has a blocker. And he's going nowhere. Sean Doyle, the linebacker, will make it 3rd and long. Well, coming up on Valvoline, halftime 2000, John Saunders and Terry Bowden. We'll have scores and highlights from all the action in college football today. But every time we see Terry Bowden, he looks more and more comfortable in a big city, don't you think?
Well, he is. He's a big town type of guy. We'll start calling him Broadway Terry.
He's just settle right into Times Square Stadium. 3rd down play. Dantzler in a world of trouble. Almost got it off to the true freshman Ronnie Thomas, but Thomas is not going to fool the officials on a 4th down situation here that might lead to some discussion.
Well, Cedric Harden, number 90, and Pat Mingucci are going to take advantage of this miscue. And Justin Smith gets all the attention. Harden and Mingucci, very talented players. And they are guys that thrive on one-on-one blocking and are very capable of making big plays behind the line of scrimmage.
So Maney, the punter, dropped 2 inside the 20 last week. And Bowden instead will go for it on 4th down. They've got Gardner, and he's got more than a 1st down. He's got it all. Flags in the end zone. That is going to be celebration and taunting.
And Tommy Bowden's not real happy about it. They'll get credit for the touchdown. Now looking at the replay, the ball is delivered behind Gardner. He makes a great catch. A nice play breaking the tackles of both Clarence Jones, number 8, and Julian Jones. And then no place for that. And Gardner makes a big mistake here. As far as Tommy Bowden's concerned, picking up the unsportsmanlike call. You cannot point, draw attention to yourself. But, you know, before the 15-yard penalty, Sean, that's as good a play as you'll see on a quick slant by a wide receiver. Ball delivered behind him, secures the catch, breaks 2 tackles, and takes it all the way to the end zone.
So this will make this a little dicey. The extra point from Aaron Hunt. It will essentially be a 35-yard field goal, and the true freshman is just that. 12-point game. You said it exactly right. It is the calling attention to yourself that will make all the difference as far as that flag and that laundry going on the field. That will do it every time.
Well, and let's not take away from the focus here. 21-9 and a big drive by Clemson to reestablish their rhythm, their tempo in this ball game. And Gardner, short of that penalty, a marvelous play. Ball wasn't perfectly thrown, but you have to give Dantzler some credit. He delivered that ball to an outside receiver on a slant play, and he got the ball up early, gave his big wide receiver, a guy who had 80 receptions for Tommy Bowden a year ago, a chance to make the play. And Missouri, 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Be interesting to see how they play this.
2:27 on the clock and 2 timeouts from Missouri. That is a world of time. That is an eternity in college football.
A world of time, but on the road, oftentimes it depends on what sort of field position you have. If Larry Smith can get any sort of return, I think he'll open things up for Kirk Farmer. But one thing you don't want to do if you're Missouri, even with 2.5 minutes and plenty of time to get down in field goal position, even position to score 7 points, you don't want to make a miscue. You do not want to turn it over here.
Lazara's kick will drive Rhodes back a yard deep. It'll be a long field in front of Kirk Farmer, but still plenty of time. 2:17 and a half and a couple of timeouts.
And what you do here, if you're Missouri and if you're Bill Cubitt, is you throw the football, but you make safe throws. You take the high percentage throws. You don't throw the ball over the middle. You keep the ball to the outside. Let the young quarterback, Kirk Farmer, see the danger on the outside, see what he has to go against. Taking a look at his numbers, and pretty darn good after that start in the first quarter. And what you don't see in those numbers are the big plays he's made running the football.
Farmer out of the shotgun. They come to the line quickly. Flails it out, looking for Blakely, the tight end.
Well, he had Blakely man-to-man on Carson, and that was a nice throw. And talking to Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, he said, I'm watching the film, and Farmer can make some of those touch throws, and he almost dropped that right on the spot. It's going to be a little flag route, little corner route by Blakely, and just out of his reach. And I don't think Missouri will go no huddle unless they pick up a first down, unless they get a couple positive plays.
They will run it and get some clock, and they will put it on the ground. Nightmare time. Mance, the recovery. He had the pick earlier.
And Sean, we made a little trip earlier this week into Columbia, and we saw just how hard they were coaching the running backs. Fumble in that first game against Western Illinois. They had been not securing the football during the fall practice. There you see the hit. And a solid play made by Mance to cover the football. Garvin blocking downfield. But we said Missouri could not afford to turn the ball over in the last 2.5, and they've done it.
Turnover margin is what destroyed their season a year ago. Dantzler will lob it. He's got a true freshman down there. Instead, it was almost picked off by Gary Anthony. Ronnie Thomas was the intended receiver, but I wouldn't stress intended. He was in a lot of trouble.
Well, he was in trouble, and he gets some heat up front immediately. We'll see the tail end of this throw. That ball looks like the Hubble telescope coming apart a little bit. Great play by Ronnie Thomas to break up the possible interception.
Zachary still on his feet. He's close to a first down. Clemson needs to slow it down here. Run some more clock. It's almost going too quick. Hubble telescope.
Yeah, that's a NASA term, Sean.
You had all those years as a quarterback at UCLA to figure out how to describe passes just like that, I suppose.
Yeah, they called me the spaceman out on the West Coast, and for good reason. But how about the play? How about the play by Freddie James, the reserve defensive lineman, to shake the ball loose and give Dantzler and his offense a shot here.
Dantzler gets himself the first down. You see the time remaining in the first half. Missouri got within 5. And they're back on their heels now. All the look and feel of a broken play, although a lot of Clemson plays look that way and are actually not. This will keep the clock going. 2nd down and 8 coming up.
Well, and just as we talked about Farmer not wanting to turn the ball over, the Missouri offense not wanting to turn the ball over. Right now, Dantzler has to think, I've got 3 points in my back pocket. Let's make sure we get 3. If we get 7, that's icing on the cake.
Hunt, the kicker, already hit that extra point after the penalty that was farther away than this would be as a field goal. Dantzler, straight quarterback draw, bounces off one, and he'll take it in. Too much offense, too much Woody Dantzler. And a backbreaker for Missouri late in the first half.
And Woody put a backbreaker move on Jamonte. Jamonte Robinson, number 55, ended that play face down on the turf, and he got a taste of the unbelievable moves that Dantzler can make running the football.
Punt adds the point, and seemingly in the blink of an eye, Clemson has scored twice.
Wow. And you talk about elusive.
You're sitting back on your couch in Columbia. You're feeling good about life. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes ago, you've got Clemson having cut their lead to 14-9. You got them in a 4th and 5. A touchdown pass to Rod Gardner. The fumble by Zane Gilmore. Woody Dantzler takes it in the 14 yards. And top 25 teams, David, teams that contend for championships can throw quick punches just like that.
Well, you can throw quick punches when you have the sort of turnover margin discrepancy that's created by a Tommy Bowden club. And the reverse pivot there is just wonderful. He used it on Jamani Robinson, a 4-3. You see Jamani Robinson on the ground there, 55. And then the explosiveness. That's called starting and stopping speed. The reverse spin, he eludes 55. That's special. But getting back, Sean, to turnover margin, Tommy Bowden has done a great job here at Clemson. He did a wonderful job at Tulane. It was one of our Dell game solutions. At Death Valley, you cannot turn the ball over and get the crowd involved.
He has been the top 11 in that category in each of his 3 years as a head coach. Turnover margin. Brandon Saravino. Make it Garrett Hill, back up tight end. One of the up men will take it and takes the clock down to 34 seconds. And Reggie Herring knows Missouri still has a couple of timeouts here.
You know, and even more importantly, as we see Reggie signaling in the defensive calls for Clemson, 6:10 to go. It was 14-9. Missouri had done a great job of keeping their defense off the field, and for the last 6 minutes or so, the vast majority of time has been spent by the Missouri defense on the field.
Farmer quick out to Dawsman. Will keep the clock moving. And that may not have been worth it. The 5 yards gain for the time it's going to come off the clock here. Well, they will stop it now.
Well, that's a good call by Missouri. Maybe they could have gotten it called 2 or 3 seconds earlier, but a nice time to use that second timeout with 19 seconds on the clock. Larry Smith, his offensive coordinator Bill Cubit are going to take a couple cracks down the field with a 28-9 game.
Larry Smith watched his team lose 6 of their final 7 games in 1999, and the majority of them were not pretty.
Shut out 3 times in a row on the road.
Well, we are just getting started here on ABC today. Coming up tonight, most of you will see Florida State, the number 2 team in the country, against Georgia Tech, and Colorado continuing that brutal early season schedule. There's Carson Palmer and the USC Trojans, and I know, Mr. Norr, that you are a Carson Palmer fan.
Well, I love Carson Palmer. He didn't look too good early against Penn State. And we talked to some of the SC fans out on the coast. They were real pumped up after the win over the Nittany Lions. And then after the way Toledo took care of Penn State a week ago, some indecision crept into the minds of the Trojan backers. It'll be interesting to see how they react at home against a Colorado team that outgained Colorado State pretty significantly last week, but came up with an L.
They let that one get away. Especially painful after last year. Farmer's pass tipped by Eric Spencer. Spencer was the one who deflected one earlier that ended up getting intercepted.
And that was very close to being intercepted again. In fact, too dangerous. And that one isn't on Spencer. You know, Farmer's got to make the safe throw. And when he has Spencer hooked up on a curl route, you got to make sure you deliver the ball safely. Don't lead him downfield. Don't throw the ball high. Don't increase the chances of a deflection and another interception.
I don't think there'll be a lot of chances taken here. It is Abram trying to get to the first down that would stop the clock. He will not. And I have a hunch that is going to do it for the first half, which started so shakily for Missouri, but they fought their way back into this football game at 14-9. They had Clemson in a 4th down situation. Tommy Bowden elected to go for it as opposed to punt the ball away. Woody Dantzler hit Rod Gardner for a touchdown. A quick turnover, a fumble by Zane Gilmore. And instead of going into the locker room down 5, Larry Smith's Tigers have a mountain to climb.
A couple interesting turnovers in the first half. fact, a turnover by Clemson that really, after taking a closer look, was not a fumble. And Missouri went ahead and cashed in for an extra 3 points, cut the game to 14-9. And you know, look at the total yards. Not the type of difference that you see on the scoreboard right now. But Missouri down by 19 to open up the second half. If they don't come up with something miraculous here, it's going to take Missouri really out of their comfort zone on offense, Sean.
Tommy Bowden quite clearly and quite logically wants to make Missouri punt the football because they botched a punt earlier that resulted in Clemson's second touchdown. Zachary back deep, but this is about trying to make something happen in the backfield. They don't. Jared Gilpin will get it away. Zachary will leave it go and doesn't get touched in the next couple of seconds, which it doesn't. That's the end of the first half. So the Clemson Tigers were back on their heels. Larry Smith going for it on 4th down. Got Missouri back in the game, but 2 late touchdowns make it a 28-9 game.